Hello, it's Sonia here at The Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today is Tuesday, and that means it's Tunisian Tuesday. And today we are going to be featuring a stitch pattern. So I'm actually using an M hook or 9mm hook. She's a bigger hook here. I'm trying something new. And I'm using chunky yarn. I guess this would be like a number 6 yarn here. I don't know the brand of it. I just wanted to see how this stitch would look with heavier yarn. Alright, so I went ahead and I already started row 1. So what you'll need to do is chain a multiple of 2. So I went ahead and I chained 12. So I'm going to show you a clip on how to get started with row 1. Okay, so row 1 is our setup row in the second chain from our hook. I like to work in the back bump of my chain. I am going to pull up loops. Now you don't have to work in the back bump, that's just my preferred method. And if you've never done Tunisian crochet before, I do have a playlist that goes over the basics plus other stitch pattern tutorials and projects as well. So I'll place that link in the description box if you want to check that out. So Tunisian crochet is always worked in 2 parts. Each row is worked in 2 parts. So we are doing row 1, so the first part of row 1, called the forward pass, we are putting our stitches on our hook. And then the second part of row 1 will be called the return pass, where we will take the stitches off our hook and each part equals 1 row. Okay, so I have my loops on my hook, and the amount that I chained will be the amount that is on my hook. So I have 17 loops because I chained 17. So let's work the second part of row 1. We're going to yarn over, pull through 1 loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 for the rest of the row. Okay, so there we go. There is row 1. Alright, so we are back. This is row 1. So now we're going to get ready for row 2. And this is a 2-row repeat. So we're going to work Tunisian simple in the first stitch and Tunisian simple in the next one. And what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch. So we're going to pull this loop here over. Just like that. And now we're going to yarn over. And we're going to repeat that across. So Tunisian simple, Tunisian simple. Now we work the slip, yarn over. And we just keep going. Alright, so now we work in that stitch that looks like a chain. So I chained 12, so you should still have the same amount of loops on your hook that you chained. So I still have 12 loops on my hook, and we're going to do our return pass. We're going to yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2 for the rest of the row. Alright, so there is row 2 all done. So let's begin row 3. So if you look at our first vertical bar, so here it is here, and then you see like a horizontal bar right underneath of it, right here. We're going to insert our hook in there. So just insert your hook into that horizontal bar, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then Tunisian simple in the next one. And then we're going to do that same thing where we're going to slip it and yarn over, and we're going to repeat. So in that horizontal bar, and then in the next vertical bar, work the slip, yarn over. So it's kind of like row 2, but instead of working in the vertical bar, we're working in the horizontal bar. Forgot my yarn over. Don't want to forget that yarn over, because then you will not have enough loops on your hook. Do our final yarn over, and then on our stitch that looks like a chain. And we still have our 12 loops. So yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. So what you're going to do is repeat rows 2 and 3 for however long you want your swatch, and then we'll do our bind off. So I'll just work a few more rows and then I'll meet you back. Alright, so here is my swatch. You can see it produces a really nice textured stitch pattern, and I've worked 9 rows, ended on a row 3, so we're going to do our bind off, which is just finishing up our work, and we're going to bind off in Tunisian simple all the way across. And if you don't know how to bind off, it is in the playlist that I have. It goes over the basics of Tunisian crochet and basic stitches, like this simple stitch. Our last stitch, it looks like a chain. See, I wasn't having any trouble with this yarn, but this last one, it wants to split for some reason. Okay, let's figure it out. All right, there we go. So it does lay relatively flat, even though we did Tunisian simple. Usually when you work all Tunisian simple, it does not like to lay flat, but this one does, and I think it's a really nice pattern, stitch pattern. Has a nice texture, has a nice amount of flexibility. Sometimes Tunisian stitch patterns can be rather stiff. This one is not so stiff, so it has a little bit of some drape and flexibility, which I think is nice. I think it would be very nice in a blanket, or maybe even a sweater, or a scarf. I think you could do a lot of cool projects with this one. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.